I believe we should pretty much be right at the same exact spot we were at last week. So overall thesis should be roughly about the same here. Oh, the SPY actually has a very nice weekly close. Definitely actually a lot stronger here on the weekly. So it looks
Yeah.
like we didn't even react off that GP with that lower high that was looking to come in. Uh, yeah, so we did get a nice pop pretty much up to an equal high close here in terms of the actual candle close. So we actually could look to see it pull into a all-time high here if we really want to. Um, but I think for me, I would actually like to see a potential back test to use this or to confirm whether or not we actually want to use this area of support. So I guess that would have to be down to 4 or 555 here on SPY if it did want to send higher for a new all-time high there. I think that is something we could potentially see there. Um, Otherwise, we may actually just go for a straight new all-time high first and then potential retest. So I think those are two possible scenarios there. Let's SPY. Take a look at the daily here. Okay, yeah, so the daily here is a little bit more interesting to me. You see that we did have a actual gap here previously that we actually filled, and it looks like this actually was going to be the last imbalance that we had towards the actual upside, because you seen previously, right, we got that little correction, time period, and we did form a lot of imbalances, and here, or last week, we did just end up filling um, pretty much one of the last imbalances, and then above here obviously is going to be all-time high. So I think for me, until we get actually above uh 563, that's when I still think we could pull to all-time high. But until we get a daily close above here, I think we'll still probably be stuck within this range here. You see, we really just been bouncing back and forth between this 562 and then like 555 area. So it's actually a pretty decent sized range here. It's almost like a $5 to $7 range here on the daily. Um, and you actually see we should be opening right up, yeah, much right around here, if I'm correct. Right now we're opening about 563, so actually slightly above, if I'm correct. So yeah, we'd like to see how we're gonna interact today, and then yeah, whether or not we actually want to push for a new all-time high here, or will that actually come back into this previous day's range. That'll be something I'll be keeping an eye out on today. Cool.
Yeah, so that's where my sell is on SPY under that
Mhm.
fair value gap on the lower end there.
Yeah.
That's what I showed you. And upside, I think we have all-time high. Yeah,
Yeah, I think below
I
this
have.
level here for sure, we could see at least a little bit more retracement. Yeah, I don't hate that there, but cool. Take a look at Q's here. Yeah, cool. So Q's still actually sitting very nicely. Um, Actually within almost this lower high structure still. We do have this imbalance that we still need to fill overhead of us on QQQ, up to, yeah, 490 still on QQQ. So we're not nearly as close as all-time highs as we are with SPY here. So that is what, SMT, right? Right?
Yeah, I'm actually looking for SPY to take all-time high, but not Nasdaq
Yeah.
this year.
So
But
if
we will see.
I'm correct, that is SMT where
Yeah,
ES or SPY will take all-time highs and then QQQ will not. So that's gonna be really interesting. So I think if SPY does take all-time highs, that will maybe allow Qs to get this fill within this gap, and then from there I might actually like to see some retracement um, start to come in. But that is something very interesting to kind of look out for. I'm going to be keeping an eye out on that SMT potentially. Um, but we are going to be creating a very, very large imbalance below us here on QQQ's weekly time frame. So yeah, this is almost going to be similar structure to QQQ or to SPY as on the daily. Yeah, we've been chopping here within this range for a little bit. Although if you actually take a look, currently sitting at 479. Yeah, so if you actually take a look at this here, we see that we had a little bit of a support being used by this daily time frame gap. So we had a daily gap that was formed right about here. You see that we initially used it as we broke above it, used it as support, and then this day on Thursday, I believe, got a nice little sell, and then looks like we're actually trying to flip this here. So this is going to be very interesting to me as we are actually opening up, probably going to open up right around 479. So yeah, still below this, so probably I would look for a long probably above either 480 for a smaller time frame structure breakout, or above 484 we probably look for that push up to 490 for me, and then probably below, it's a tough spot for me, I guess below like 473 we'll look for a fill for this previous daily imbalance down to 465. But yeah, I don't hate the spot where we're sitting at now for sure though. So we are still yeah, we're still pretty much ranging here, but it's a little bit more of a wider range here for me. And we are also still sitting inside this 78.6 for the GP here on the daily time frame. So I do still like that. So yeah, above 44, 45, we'll look for that 490 push. We do also have another imbalance to fill slightly overhead on a daily as well. And this technically would be that gap that SPY actually fills. So remember on the daily time frame, right? SPY pretty much ended up filling all of its overhead imbalances, whereas QQQ did not. This would be the last gap that it would have to fill up to 493 just about. So once again, that's going to be, that SMT with SPY and QQQ there. So that'll be something very interesting. All right. Take a look at Apple here. I have a lot of drawings here. So it looks like last week we were almost anticipating a inverse head and shoulder setting up here. Based off the weekly time frame, we still have actually yet to break above this previous overhead resistance right at 227. So technically the structure actually can still be in play here. Head over to the daily. Yeah, we are still continuing to base. So with this structure here, we are in a range. This will be our breaker. So above 227, look for more upside, and then below 224 is when we could actually potentially look for that formation of that right shoulder, which would complete that inverse head and shoulder setup there. So that would be something that would be actually very nice to see. And then actually I'm gonna take a picture of that because that could actually work. Yeah, because as of right now, you see we've been stuck in this range for the past literally all week actually, you see. But this is nice as we are starting to get some consolidation here, which does mean we are, setting up for some type of breakout. So until one of those levels, get initiated, or until one of those levels break out, that could potentially, be a leader for some time this week, right? So that would be something to also be definitely watchful of, is when those, breakout levels trigger. This could definitely drag us or pull us up depending on how everything else is moving. But I do like that. Alright, Microsoft weekly. It looks like we did for here, we had a regular head and shoulder setting up on the weekly time frame. Still looks actually pretty decent in my opinion. Yeah, pretty okay candle close right there. So structure technically can still be in play. And you actually see, just based off the wick that we got here, we wicked perfectly up to pretty much where the top of this left shoulder was going to be, right? So you said, right, we had room up to this 426 level. But you see we did have a very, very nice rejection, and we actually still continue to close below this technically support right here. Right, this, if we did get above that 420, it would have been flipped as support, but we are actually still using this overall area as resistance. So yeah, this definitely can still send us lower here, I think, if this structure does want to play out here. We did also create a daily time frame imbalance, or sorry, weekly imbalance. That's going to be sitting right below us, right about there, pretty tiny down to 410. But that structure is still in play right there, so I wouldn't mind getting some type of back test down towards that level there. But in terms of the daily here, yeah, this actually is kind of nice. I think this actually can possibly continue. If you looked at the daily here, we had a higher low structure coming in here, and then Thursday we actually got a breakout below that structure there. Friday's candle was actually fairly neutral, as you can see there, but we did end up creating a imbalance slightly overhead. So this is going to be up to about 421. Currently we are trading at 415, so we're actually trading a little bit on the lower end, but it would be nice to see if we actually got a back test into this imbalance and then send us lower. Maybe something like that would look kind of good, but yeah, we'll see for this. But I believe, yeah, if we take a look, actually I believe previous day's high actually is going to be sitting right at the end of that imbalance. So yeah, I actually wouldn't mind if Microsoft ended up pulling up towards that previous high day, which is going to be, the pretty much the bottom of that imbalance, and we'll actually use that as a potential resistance. And then otherwise, if we do get above that, that could be a move for the actual fill of that up to 421 or 422. Yeah, and then we do still have those lower time frame imbalances sitting below us. You see that on Friday we actually did get a tap right outside of that imbalance here on the daily, tapped right outside of it, and we are using it as support currently. So yeah, this would be almost more of a range break structure. So above previous high day, we could look for a imbalance fill overhead, and then below previous low of day, we could look for that imbalance fill below us. So yeah, I like that, but I think the structure can still possibly have room, at least down to 410 maybe, I think, as we did get a break below this higher low, but we would have to see how we interact at the previous day's range. All right, Google here. If you take a look, not really too much. We are still sitting. Yeah, I'm still keeping an eye out on this level down to 157 for that higher low to actually still come into play on the weekly time frame. So still keeping an eye out on that potential level there, although it may get moved up a little bit to like 158, 157 area. But you see, we did reject still right at this previous resistance or previous support, flip to resistance here. This is going to be our first official back test off of this level after this correction move that we got. So this is our first back test level there. So definitely is going to be above 468. I'd say is going to be potential breakout for probably 472. But otherwise, we actually still can continue to reject within this area here. Take a look at the daily. Yeah, pretty choppy overall. Still, you see, we are still stuck in a little bit of a range. So this would be the zone that we would have to break out of. So if you take a look, 163 or below, yeah, probably below 163. We could look for more downside, and then probably above 167 or 168, you could look for more upside. Yeah, I don't hate that. Alright, weekly on NVDA here. NVDA looks actually very, very nice. Really good interaction off of that GP that we previously bounced off of. Yeah, that was very nice. Great hold there on the weekly, and really, really aggressive move up. But we are starting to come into a pretty decent area of demand right at this 130 area. We would have to clear above this if we did want to see potentially a new all-time high get put in. But we're sitting at a pretty decent spot here overall. But not too much on the weekly. Yes, we are going to be creating a new weekly time frame imbalance that's going to be sitting below us. And then look at the daily here. Yeah, we are once again consolidating here as well. So stuck at a range. So a lot of these names that you're noticing, right, they have a lot of similar structure. Okay, right, everything is ranging right now, which means we are setting up for a extremely large breakout. And then for me, I think that breakout probably is going to be on Wednesday, because if you actually take a look, right, NVDA actually is going to be reporting its earnings on Wednesday. So this is going to be very important. I think this is going to be potentially the catalyst that could, probably send us for either a break higher or, a little bit more of a dip lower. So that will probably be that. But yeah, with NVIDIA here, probably like shorts below 125-ish, 124 maybe. And then I like longs above 130. If we're able to get that break above 130, that should be pretty nice. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the daily and weekly time frames. With a lot of these names here. Like I said, not too much going on as of right now, as it looks like structure is still going to be developing here. So we are really just going to need to wait for some type of breakout. But let's take a look at the calendar and see what we actually have. So I did post the calendar in the Discord as well. Oops. So calendar, it looks like nothing too crazy, honestly, nothing too crazy today and tomorrow. Not really seeing too much. Biggest thing I'd say so far for the week in terms of the economic calendar probably is going to be GDP and jobless claims on Thursday. So 8:30 news on Thursday, and then we have PCE on Friday. So those would probably be the two um, highlight events going on for this week. But besides that, I don't really see anything else for just Monday and Tuesday. So should be a pretty alright or potentially slower start to the week. And then take a look at the actual earnings calendar. And like I said, we do have NVIDIA earnings on Wednesday. So this is going to be another very important driver or catalyst for the market. So I think this would be definitely something we're going to be having to keep an eye on for sure. So NVIDIA on Wednesday, NVIDIA earnings Wednesday, GDP Thursday, and then PCE on Friday. And I think that's it. Cool. Any questions? No? All right.